How many times does he have to be right? He wasn't a scientist, he never went to college, he spent most of his adult life lying on a couch with his eyes closed. And yet, 11 years before archaeologists pulled the Dead Sea Scrolls out of a cave in the Judean desert, Edgar Cayce described them in detail. He diagnosed diseases doctors hadn't named yet. He located oil fields that hadn't been drilled. He described the interior of the Great Pyramid from a farmhouse in Kentucky. And he got it right. So here's what I need you to sit with. If he was right about all of that, what do we do with the one thing he said that nobody has been able to prove or disprove? My name is Heather, and this is Seriously Spooked. And this is the Cayce Files Part 1, where we're going to dig a little deeper than we did before. Edgar Cayce was born in 1877 in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. That's not a typo, Hopkinsville, Kentucky, which means from the very beginning, nothing about this story is very glamorous. He was a Sunday school teacher, a photographer, a deeply religious man who read the Bible cover to cover every year of his life. He did not consider himself to be a psychic. He considered himself, and I want you to remember this, he considered himself to be a channel. The reading started by accident. As a young man, Cayce developed a severe throat condition that left him nearly mute. A local hypnotist put him into a trance state, and Cayce diagnosed himself his own illness using medical terminology that he had never learned. And he also prescribed a treatment. The treatment worked. Cayce's trance readings began in 1901. Over the next 43 years, he gave approximately 14,306 documented readings. These are preserved at the Association for Research and Enlightenment in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Word spread, people started coming to him. First locally, then from across the country. Wealthy businessmen, desperate parents, dying patients. He never charged a set fee. He gave readings from a couch lying flat on his back, hands folded on his chest. Here's where it gets uncomfortable for skeptics, because Cayce's medical readings have a documented track record. Not a perfect one, but documented. Let's talk about what he actually got right, because this matters not as entertainment, but as context for everything that comes next in this series. In 1936, 11 years before their discovery, Edgar Cayce gave readings describing a Jewish religious sect that kept ancient scrolls hidden in caves near the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered later in 1947. The Dead Sea Scrolls are arguably his most documented predictive hit, but they're not the only one. Cayce predicted in 1943 that China would undergo dramatic democratic and religious transformation. Scholars have noted the significant religious revival occurring in China since the 1980s. Cayce predicted in the 1920s that the American economy would crash. His clients ignored him. The stock market did collapse in 1929. Cayce described the Nile River as having once flowed into the Atlantic Ocean, considered absurd at the time. In 1986, space shuttle imaging radar detected previously unknown ancient river valleys beneath the Sahara Desert, consistent with a radically different historical drainage pattern. I'm not asking you to believe in psychics. I'm asking you to look at the track record, case by case, and ask yourself the question that I can't stop asking. What do you do with someone who is wrong about some things and inexplicably, specifically, documentably right about others? Because now I need to tell you about the one prediction that has never been proven, the one prediction that right now researchers are actively using technology to either confirm or bury. In a series of trance readings given between October and December of 1933, Edgar Cayce described something he called the Hall of Records. He said that it was built by refugees from a civilization so old that modern archaeology hasn't found it yet. He said it contained the complete recorded history of humanity. Everything before the flood, before Egypt, before the First Dynasty. Cayce described the Hall of Records as lying between the Sphinx and the Nile River, with an entrance near the Sphinx's right front paw. He said the hall itself was pyramid-shaped and contained records in both Atlantean and Egyptian writing systems. He was very specific. Not somewhere in Egypt, not near a pyramid. He said Right Paw Entrance Hall Records. Now, most people have heard this. It's one of the most famous paranormal claims attached to Egypt. But here's what most people haven't heard. In the 1990s, a geophysicist named Thomas DeBecke conducted seismic surveys around the Sphinx. His data showed what appeared to be a man-made cavity under the right paw, rectangular, symmetrical, not consistent with natural rock. Filippo Biondi and his team brought new tools to Giza. Not just ground-penetrating radar, they combined GPR with something called muon tomography. Think of it as cosmic ray imaging, the same technology that in 2017 revealed a previously unknown void inside the Great Pyramid. Muon tomography works by measuring cosmic ray muons passing through stone. Denser rock absorbs more. Voids and chambers show up as gaps in the data. In 2017, that technology found a hidden cavity inside the Great Pyramid roughly 30 meters long. Biondi's team ran the same technology on the Sphinx, and the results showed clear underground voids, rectangular, symmetrical shapes beneath the monument. Not natural, not random. Then it got interesting. Dr. Zahi Hawass, the most famous Egyptologist in the world, the man who controlled access to these sites for decades, called it fake news. He said the researchers were amateurs. He said there was nothing there. And then Joe Rogan put them on his podcast. Here's what I want you to notice. Hawass didn't say the scans were wrong. He said the researchers were amateurs. He said their methodology was flawed. He said nothing is down there. Biondi would appear on a later episode of Joe Rogan. But Hawass also said the same thing in 1993 about DeBecke's results, and those rectangular cavities under the right paw are still there. So here's where we are. A man with no formal education lying on a couch in Kentucky in 1933 described a very specific chamber under a very specific paw of a specific statue in Egypt, and gave architectural details that he wouldn't otherwise have. 60 years later, a geophysicist found what looks like a man-made cavity under that very specific paw. 90 years later, new technology found the same shapes and got shut down by the same institution that has controlled that site for decades. I'm not telling you what to believe, I'm telling you that there is a pattern. And the pattern is, every time someone gets close to that right paw of the Sphinx, someone else makes sure they don't dig. But here's what Cayce also said, and almost nobody talks about this. He said the Hall of Records wasn't just in Egypt. He said there were three identical vaults, 3 different locations, 3 sets of the same records buried before the flood by a civilization that knew it was ending and wanted someone in the future to find them. In the next episode, we're going to follow that map. If you're new here, subscribe. If you've been here, you already know what this channel does. We follow the evidence, we name the facts, and we ask the questions that a lot of people don't really want to ask. I'm Heather, and this is Seriously Spooked.